Hello, the purpose of this video is to help you find the sample mean, sample standard deviation, and sample variance. Given the frequency table, if you're given a frequency table, and how to find that on a TI-36X Pro. Well, the first thing is you're given a frequency table, you're given a range of values. And that's not what X is. X is the exact center spot. So what you could do is you could just in your head go 9 plus 3 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. You could just write 6 there. But that may not make sense, so another way of doing it would be in parentheses, 3 plus 9, close parentheses, divided by 2, and that would give you the 6. You could also just use it as a fraction key and go 3 plus 9 in the numerator and go 2 in the denominator and get 6. But that's how you get 6. So like 10 plus 16 is 26, divided by 2 is 13. I could just go in parentheses, 10 plus 16, close parentheses, divided by 2 is 13, so we'd put a 13 here. So then you could do the same thing with the 17, parentheses, 17 plus 23, close parentheses, divided by 2, ends up being 20, so it'd be 20. So you're finding the midpoint, and by finding the midpoint, you add up the two values and divide by 2. So 6 is exactly in between 3 and 9. 13 is exactly in between 10 and 16. And 20 is exactly between 17 and 23. So that's all fine and clear. Let's actually talk about clear. Let's go ahead and figure out how to do this. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put my data. I'm going to press the word data. But I see data there, right? And in this case, it's in L1. So if you see data there, you don't want it. So what we're going to do is get rid of it by hitting the data button one more time. And I just have to clear L1, so it's already there, so I can just enter and it clears it. Now, if you're clearing and you have a bunch of different columns with data in it, you could just hit clear all, or hit the number 4, hit clear all, enter, and it would clear all your different lists for you. Now, how do I get this in here? So I'll have the numbers 6, 13, and 20. 6, enter, 13, enter, and 20, enter. Now to get to this column, I'm going to use the right arrow. Press the right arrow once to give it to me. I'll hit 9, 8, and 11. 9, 8, 11. Now, we want to go ahead and find out the sample mean, sample standard deviation, sample variance. To do that, we're going to first quit, and so it's blank. And now we're going to do this, the STAT/REG/DISTR. So basically, it's either a regression or statistics. We're going to do statistics. It's the same key. Second stat. Number 2 is one variable statistics. We're going to do one variable statistics at the number 2. Now it tells me L1 is my data, correct? But now here in column 2 was my frequency. So the frequency, instead of being 1 each, I'll use this arrow key to go ahead to emphasize this on arrow 2. I'll hit enter and then calculate. So in other words, data is L1, frequency is in L2. You can put them in any of the columns that you want. Now calculate, if I do that. N is 28. So what that is, if you add up all the frequencies, 11 plus 9 is 20 plus 8. Pardon my hands. N is equal to the sum of your frequencies, which in this case is 28. So it's like I have the number 6 written 9 times, 13 written 8 times, and 20 written 11 times. Now using my down arrow, the sample mean is 13.5. And the sample standard deviation is 6.0. I'm going to come back to that in just a minute. But the population standard deviation, by 0.89, you're probably not going to use this very much. Probably not going to use it at all. Sum of the x's, 378. Now, if I look here, 6 plus 13 plus 20 isn't 378. No, what it is this. Because there's 9 of these guys, you go 6 times 9 plus 13 times 8 plus 20 times 11 equals 378. And then x squared. If I just take these and square them and add them up, it's not going to be this. You take 36 times 9, 169, add 169 times 8, and add 400 times 11, and you get 6,076. Those last couple you would use for those. If you're doing everything by hand, you'd need those numbers. I'm sure that your professor showed you. Now, if you kept going down, it would give you the minimum, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the maximum value. So those are all using if you're doing a box whisker. But for us, let's go back up here. Remember I said you'd see the SX one more time. This is the sample standard deviation. To find the sample variance, while the cursor is right next to S of X, hit enter, and then it's squared. The relationship between the sample standard deviation and the sample variance is that the sample variance is the sample standard deviation squared. Sx is the sample standard deviation, so if I square it, hit the squared button, equal. It gives me an exact value, but I want the approximation, so it'd be like 36.04 or something. 36.037037, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I hope that this is helpful to you. I hope this helps you to learn how to use your calculator and figure this. And I thank you for listening. I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you for watching.